What's up, guys? Welcome back to Ski Outdoors. Welcome to part 2 of Alaska, the four-wheeler excursion. So I'm gonna make this very quick because it's gonna get into it right away. But as you can see, we're going through marshland. Like most people like that have either hunted Alaska or have seen like photos of like if you hunt Alaska. I mean, it's not even hunting, but just from the standpoint of like the terrain, like this is marsh. I mean, it's beautiful. Like the trees are here. Like it's still swampy. It's a different part of it. But as you can see, we're still in the mix of where we came out of the mountains. It's kind of crazy because like you come up one side of the river, rocky, and like where the old river was, and then you get on this side of the river, the old river, and now you're in the marsh and the swamp. A lot more of the swamp, that is. If you see me looking around a lot, it's just because the guides are like, you know, hey, we're in the marsh. Like the chances of you seeing a moose, possibly a bear, sheep, etc., are very high. So of course, like I'm swinging around. Like I edited a lot of that out because, well, spoiler alert, didn't see anything. But it's totally beside the point. As you can see, we're going through trails. Like we actually like got to speed up a little bit more, go a little bit faster. I mean, this is kind of the going back home part, so the terrain is a little bit easier, except that part. I mean, that was kind of a little splash pad. It just goes back to the fact of probably smelled like high heaven when I boarded the plane. But actually, I don't know if I want to talk about it right now. I can't remember because like I'm watching it with you as I'm recording this. I'm watching it with you as I record this, just from the standpoint of, well, my GoPro turned off, dang thing. But anyway, smelling like high heaven, etc. I made myself presentable. I'm just going to talk about it now. I made myself presentable to, you know, obviously board an international airport. But this part was really cool. Like, talk about a marsh. This part right here was absolutely stellar. Like, you had to stay, I think, 40 feet away from each other, or, you know, like let the splashes and the water kind of clear off because it was deep. Like, in part 1, I said, like, well, this is the deepest part. That part was pretty crazy. So anyway, back to make myself, I can't even do it. We're gonna have to continue that here in a little bit. But this is where I opened it up. I mean, obviously you can see. I'm not gonna tell you how fast I went, but let's just put it this way: I stayed very well behind the lead 2 people, meaning guide and that gal that was in front of us. And then, speaking of the gal, if you ever see this gal, she was up there. I think she was 19-ish, 20 years old. Her dad is a medic on Deadliest Catch, so it's like super cool like to meet somebody like that. So anyway, shout out to her. Super cool. That was the craziest part of the river. I mean, it was very swift current, even to where I was like, oh man, I've been in swift current before on a four-wheeler, but you know, where you're unfamiliar territory, it was a little sketchy, but made it through because obviously I was messing around with my GoPro to make sure it was on because it was a cool scenario. And as you can see, like in the previous video, it was really cloudy and cruddy. It finally clears up and just made the entire day beautiful. You can see the mountains in the background going back, if you will, into the marshy land. like you'll see here, like the water, it's kind of cruddy now, but like the water gets pretty blue as long as nobody goes in front of me. Again, I'm watching this with you. Like I've seen this probably 100 times, but I'm just trying to be candid about how everything transpired. But very narrow, and so I had a helmet. Like, I mean, obviously you have to have a helmet on. Having the helmet on, having the GoPro on top, I was more worried about the damn GoPro. Like you can kind of see it there. It's just beautiful blue before you go driving through it. But so I'm like ducking and doing all this stuff just because I was worried about, like, I don't want to screw the video up. But you know, here we are. So stay tuned for part 3. Let's go.
This is the biggest pike I have ever caught.